Ah. I don't know. Hello. um. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna talk about the album that I released a while back, like a bit more than 2 weeks now. Um, and just kind of talk about every song and what I thought about, what my inspiration was with it. Some maybe fun facts that I can think about. I don't have a script for this. I'm just gonna do this on the top of my head because no one actually cares. So yeah. All right. So the album in of itself is it kind of has a theme. Like the title, obviously, overcome negative experience, and then the songs kind of would detail, or the titles of the songs would detail a journey of how someone might cope with something negative that they experienced. It is not a universal thing though. Like you don't after numbness you don't get a spark of joy. It's just a suggestion. I really like concept albums. Some of my favorite albums are concept albums, and so I kind of want to emulate that in everything that I do. All of my singles kind of have a concept except Blooming Heart, but that one as well, the cover matches the title, so it's kind of a concept. I don't know. Um, yeah, I just really like that. So the titles don't really have anything to say about the music, so I don't want to express the feeling of hope and hope again. It's more just I need a title for the song, and I try to do it as like fitting as possible to the feeling of the music, the vibes. So yeah, but it's not really that I then in Hope Again I want to express the feeling of hope, and then in the breakdown it gets downtrodden or something. Don't think too much into it. It's instrumental music. It doesn't have lyrics. It doesn't really have a message besides me having fun and doing something that I like, creating something that I love. So yeah. Um The entire album is in drop C tuning on 6 string guitars. There were no 7 string, no 8 string guitars used. Actually, I can't really say that. On my part, there weren't. The drums are programmed. I use some plugins I found on the internet. I don't know, they're free. Um, I mixed and mastered them myself. That's why it sounds kind of shit still. Because I do not want to pay over $1,000 for an album that in the end gets like 100 streams per song over the course of a year or something. I don't know. It just didn't make sense for me to invest that much money into it. And like this, I mean, Blooming Heart was mixed and mastered by myself as well. All of Demon Spawn has been and will be mixed and mastered by myself. Um, because I don't want to pay anyone anymore. Anyway, so yeah, that's why it might sound kind of shit at some points, and but yeah, my audience aren't mixing and mastering engineers. They're not audio engineers. Who cares? I'm doing what I love anyway. Let's start. Oh yeah, the artwork is done by myself as well. I was gonna work together with a really cool dude who helped me do the videos for of Other Worlds and Untold Stories, but I don't know, like I wasn't really satisfied, and that was kind of the case with every artwork so far. Every artwork that I got from except like one. I won't say which one. Yeah. I wasn't really satisfied when I saw it. I saw it and was like, I had a different vision in my mind. It's still great. Like the artists, I'm not bashing them. They did a great job doing their artwork. Um, Untold Stories of Other Worlds. It is so good. Like that artwork, and the artist did such a great job of like including me in the process as well. A Blooming Heart, that artwork is so amazing, and the artist is so amazing as well. Um, and like Progress as well, that turned out really cool and kind of like my vision. But the thing is just, I have a vision, and then the artists draw their vision of what I'm telling them, but I can't express my vision well in words, so it ends up looking different. So I am a bit disappointed, but that is my problem and not the artist's. So I wanted to avoid that problem and do it on my own, and I did. And I'm kind of proud how it turned out. Like, it's not the best, you know? There are far better artworks, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's that. What else is to say about the album as a whole? There are like kind of Easter eggs, I would say, in some places, not really in some places. Like you can see some thoughts that I put into it. I'm not gonna elaborate on everything, but if you see any patterns, anything that like stands out to you, tell me in the comments, and I will tell you if that was intentional or not. Um, I really like numbers. That's a hint. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so Enter Suffering. That's kind of, let me search for it. My inspiration with that song was like I wanted an intro because I really like album intros. Arch Enemy has album intros for like every album, I think, except their latest one, which I'm kind of disappointed. I think maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I really like album intros, and like they're kind of melodic metalcore ish a thing. Um, Thingy, where are they? Insomnium on Shadows of the Dying Sun, the Primeval Dark. It's kind of an intro, but it's also kind of a standalone song. Zwielicht. It's a deathcore band, but still, album intro, so amazing. Um, what else comes to mind? Um, Cambrium with Dawn of the Five Suns and their other sea themed album has an album intro, amazing. Um, yeah, like almost every Arch Enemy album. Um, Tempore Nihil Sanat from Arch Enemy on War Eternal has an album intro. Will to Power has an album intro. I'm just a fan of those. So that's kind of that thing. I was inspired by, I think, yes, I was inspired by War Music from Impending Doom. That like dissonant lead, and then we have like kind of deathcore doom, doodle doom, doodle doom, 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 doom. It's not really melodic metalcore or melodic death metal. I don't know. The album doesn't really have a genre. There are kind of black metal inspired songs. There are melodic death metal inspired songs. There are deathcore inspired songs. So yeah, it is just what it is. I don't have a genre, except instrumental metal. Yeah. So I was inspired by that song with the lead, and that song was originally in drop C because I experimented in drop C and thought that was kind of cool and recorded it. I didn't have any intentions of making that album and the entire album in drop C back then, but turns out I did, so I didn't have to re-record that. So that is still like, I think, the recording of the original guitar, um, from like the demo version, which, yeah. Okay, next up, Liquid Rage. I really like the fuck. Ah, I really like the transition between Enter Suffering and Liquid Rage, because just I don't know. I just like it. I love transitions. Transitions are cool. So yeah, that one kind of has one. Um, Not much to say about Liquid Rage, I think. I mean, I wrote the. Well, no, there is actually a bit to say. It's a song made up entirely of triplets, so everything is triplets. Except like the lead. I don't know, I used like whole notes there. You can't really make a whole note triplet, I guess, in a way. I don't know. Who cares? It's triplets. You know, it's a song in triplets. um, which like multiple bands have. Let me just see. Eye of the Enemy with um, The Shift, for example, comes to mind. That's in triplets, I think. Should be. Yeah, who cares? um, so yeah, it's in triplets. I used for the chorus, I used the harmonic minor scale, um, which I'm a big fan of. And that was kind of my first introduction to it. I used it in a song there first, or maybe that was the second time I used it. Anyway, I used it and I fell in love with it, and so almost every Demon Spawn song is in harmonic minor. So yeah. Also, I wrote the ending first, the you know what I mean. I wrote that first and the chorus, and then built everything around it. Not important. Oh yeah, no, wait. The project titles. I have project titles for all of these. Why is Liquid Rage there? The project title for Enter Suffering is Trapped in Endless Suffering, so it's kind of similar. Then we have a project title for Liquid Rage. It is Truth and Misery. That was Liquid Rage. Next up, Burning Tears, which the project title is Break, in brackets, Quake, because there's a Bury Tomorrow song on Cannibal that is called Quake, and I really like it, and I try to emulate it a bit with the like harmonies. What are they called? Ambience, with the ambience and the clean part in the beginning. I didn't really know how to transition after the distorted guitars came in back to the clean part, so I just didn't. So it's not really a ballad, more of just a song, I guess. Yeah, and it's really emotional. I used chord changes, like I yeah, and it's really emotional. I put a lot of thought into the chord progression for one of the first times, and it's really cool because I really like it. I don't know, it's really cool. I like Burning Tears. It's a cool song, and the breakdown, I love it. Anyway, Irrational Action. Um, yeah, that one, the project title for that one was Zero Tolerance. Um, I wanted to write a gent song, and I think I succeeded a bit. Like, it's not like the defining gent song, but it has some gent elements, so it's good enough. Who cares? um, what was I inspired by with that one? I don't know, couldn't say. I don't remember my inspiration for that one. Anyway, regret slash grief. um, the project title for that was Forgotten Reflections, and I needed another song because I wanted to have 11 songs on that album. So I needed another song after Blooming Heart was taken out and released as a single, and not part of the album because Blooming Heart is in a standard tuning, and the album I wanted to have in the same tuning every song, so it's drop C, and I can't play a standard song in a drop tuning. Well, Blooming Heart, I could. No, the solo. The solo would be kind of difficult. Um, but yeah, so Regret, Grief, or Forgotten Reflections, as I called it in the beginning, it's just kind of heavy black metal, but with emotional parts, and kind of you can see where the regret part and the grief part is. Regret is the beginning, where it's like heavy riffs, deathcore almost, and grief is in the end the emotional after the first clean part comes in. Mm. And I really wanted a bass intro, and what inspired me to do a bass intro was Misanthropolis. Misanthropolis. Yes, Misanthropolis from Numena. Um, they have a bass intro. It's different. It's very different. I was struggling a lot to write that bass intro. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it. I like the melody. Um, then we have As the Numbness Settles In. That one, The Chaos That Followed, was the project title. Um, and it's kind of giving me post-apocalyptic vibes, in a world where kind of Mad Max Fury Road in a way. I used a choir, but like an electric one from Ableton. I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's just giving me post-apocalyptic vibes, and I got like the riff. I used to write or come up with riffs while watching movies and playing to the movies, and so I just filmed that and then made it into a song. That riff. Yeah. A spark of joy. The song that has been listened to the most. It already has over 900 streams, which just shows the power of features. Honestly, yeah. So the project title is Black Flame-ish because I was inspired by multiple songs with this one. The intro and the chorus, not chorus, the intro and the verse are inspired by Black Flame from Bury Tomorrow, which I covered as well on the channel if you want to watch it. Um, and I don't know, I had a lot of fun writing that riff, that verse riff, but it was also kind of difficult because it's not how I write riffs normally. I don't put a lot of thought into it, I put more feel into it, which is why my music maybe sucks still a bit. Um, but yeah, I don't know, I like it. The tapping part is cool. And then the second inspiration was from Within Destruction. You probably already know what song I'm talking about. From Yokai Sakura. Yes. Um, that was the second inspiration for that song because of the guest solo, and the chorus kind of was inspired by it because it's similar in like the thing. Black Flame has a chorus that uses chords, like I don't fucking know how to explain it, but Black Flame is like a different kind of chorus. It's not a simple melody; it's more of a complex one, and it's not an instrumental song, but Sakura is, and so I don't know if I'm butchering that pronunciation, by the way. I'm sorry. And then of course the guest solo, which Lee McKinney did an awesome job. I paid him, of course, because he deserves it. Um, Like, he didn't do that for free, and he shouldn't. Um, he did such an awesome job. Honestly, I'm so happy with how that turned out. That's like, no, it's actually not. No, with it's different with features and with artwork. I'm not disappointed with features because I don't have a vision. I'm just like, yeah, you do you. I don't care. Um, yeah, no, but he did such an awesome job, and I'm so happy to have him on it. And yeah, I'm also kind of, I don't know, ashamed in a way because it's not the best song technically of recording. I made some mistakes, I butchered some parts, and that's where the guest features on. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine, who cares, right? Hope Again. Hope Again has the awesome project title Melodeath thingy because I wanted to write a Melodeath song, and it's inspired by Arch Enemy, as well as a bit of Amon Amarth, but not really. More Arch Enemy. Um, with that verse riff heavily being inspired by War Eternal and that riff. And at first, when I wrote that riff, I put a 0 fret after every chord, or like a 0 after every chord more. It had a really weird time signature that I didn't know, but I just removed the 0 and then it's 4/4, easy. So yeah, the solo also uses harmonic minor, and so yeah, that's that. Little fun fact about the solo: I recorded it in Drop D. I wrote it. I didn't freestyle it. I wrote it actually, and then recorded it. And then a year later, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna change that everything to Drop C because Drop C is a cool tuning, and I want to have every release be a different tuning. And the first release already was Drop D, so yeah. I couldn't play the solo anymore, and I wasn't bothered to learn it again because there's this one part that is kind of hard, and I'm not talking about the sweeps. I can play the sweeps. Just this ascending part, the second part that ascends, I don't know. It's difficult to play. I didn't want to learn it again, so I just shift, pitch shifted it down to Drop C. We don't talk about it, huh? I played it originally. It's just pitch shifted down. I can play my music, okay? I don't have to play it live. Yeah, and that is that song. Regressions. Regressions was heavily inspired by Eye of the Enemy. It had the title Similarities. I wrote it during the same time when I wrote As the Numbness Settles In. And I also wrote Liquid Rage and Burning Tears almost in the same week. So, yeah, they're kind of like song pairs on this album. But yeah, Regressions, inspired by Eye of the Enemy. More The Vengeance Paradox than Titan, because Titan is cooler. It's a bit more progressive, and I can't write that progressive yet. Well, I couldn't back then. I don't know. So yeah, I don't really like the underlying solo-ish that is at the end of the song, towards the end. There's like a meow, 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 meow. Bro, why are you guys watching this? Anyway, I don't really like it. It's, I don't know, but I kept it in because I thought, nah, who cares? It's gonna be towards the end, like the song is gonna be towards the end anyway, so. Biohacking! There we go. I really struggled with that name, by the way. Not pronouncing it, but finding a suitable name. It had the project title Synthy, and this one kind of has a story of how it originated. So I was on an exchange program in Ireland, my English didn't get better. My accent is kind of worse now than it was back then. But again, we don't talk about it. And I was in a music course there, because in Ireland you can like choose your classes and what you have in school more than in Germany. And so I chose music because I like music, and because you can choose it, it is more difficult because it ensures that only the people that really want to learn about music get to be in that music class. And so the level was higher level music. I don't know. In Germany, our music classes are boring. Like we don't do anything. We learn how to read notes. That's it. But in Ireland, I learned about like a lot of things. We analyzed Tchaikovsky, and that was so much fun. Honestly, it's amazing sequencing and all of music theory. We even went into a bit of harmony, but anyway, sequencing. That's the key word. We were supposed to learn a riff from a pop song, not a pop song, from any song, and then sequence it. Sequencing is when you take a part of a song, or like a riff, a lick, something, and repeat it, but shift it up. Not in pitch, not in key, but just shift up the notes by 1 degree off the scale. You still stay within the same scale. So the bro, I'm struggling with words so hard. Distance. Yeah, the interval between notes may change, and that is kind of, yeah, you stay within the same key, and thus the intervals between notes might change, but that is sequencing. And so I took Another One Bites the Dust from Queen, and yeah, sequenced it. But I thought, that's like, I was inspired, and so I made a whole song about it. The intro actually was from that, and then came the riff from Another One Bites the Dust, and then the chorus, which is in this song as well. But because I couldn't just make a riff or make a song, release a song that features a riff from another artist that is very well known, I changed the riff a bit, but kept kind of like its feel, dum 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 dum, dum, and I have dum. I don't fucking know what the riff is. Anyway, I changed the riff a bit. So biohacking was originally a school homework, music homework assignment. Um, I of course fleshed out the song more, repeated the chorus, the solo, did like more bridges and stuff. But yeah, Into Greatness, my baby, my favorite song. Oh, it is called the project file is called Epic Horse March Project. Um, yeah, I just love it. It is so great. Oh, it just gives me last song vibes. And what I mean by last song vibes are Back on Northern Shores by Amon Amarth gives me last song vibes. Um, where's Arch Enemy? There we go. A Fight I Must Win from Arch Enemy Will to Power gives me last song vibes. There are just certain songs that are at the end of an album, and that one is that one because I don't know. It just feels that way. It just feels right. It's just an epic horse march into the sunset and scene end. That's it. That's it. You can do something else now. Stop watching this video. What are you still here for?